Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode, finally, of Ear, Shoulder, Voice. And what a shit show of a summer we've had. So much stuff has been going on. We've been gone for a while, but you know, we've really gotten a chance to find out what things mean to us. We've really gotten to understand where things can go wrong, where things can get better in our lives, and what we can do to improve it. And everybody's been coming together really good, and I've been talking to people, you viewers, I've been talking to the people who've been on the panel, and everybody seems really excited about bringing this back and talking about what's been going on. Most importantly, I want to hear from you. So any thoughts you've had, anything you've been going through, please feel free to comment in the sections below, and we'll get to every comment you make, because that's why we're here. We're here for you. But I'm not going to waste any more time with this. We're going to get right to the show, and I'm going to bring in our first panelist. Please welcome back. It's been so long. Glad to have you back. Nikki, how's it going?
Hi, Keith. Hi.
Hi, how you doing? It's been a while, Nikki.
Good. I know. I'm so excited to be back, though. Aren't you?
I'm excited. I'm very excited. I miss this a lot. It's
Same.
you get to meet so many people, you find out so many things, and it's really something that feels absent in your life when you don't have it. And I'm really glad to have it back. So, what have you been up to during this break?
Oh, so much. Too much to really get into in these few seconds, but a lot.
Well, that's fair enough. Well, we'll have a lot more seconds coming up. I'm going to bring in our next panelist. We're glad to have her back as well. It ain't the same without our lovely Elena. What's happening?
Hello.
Hello. It's good to have you, especially on this show. So you have had quite, a roller coaster ride of life. Things are going around. So what have you been up to?
Since our last show, I feel like so much has happened. I finished cosmetology school and I finished my internship, so I'm like officially a hairstylist. I bought a house, so that's really cool.
I can see it. It needs furnishing, but it's good.
Well,
I like the color scheme. Oh.
Yeah, this is the basement, so that's last priority.
I've got a ton of shit lying around. I can fill that stuff up for you if you need.
Perfect.
No problem there.
We'll be in touch.
All right, we also have coming back to you, Bill. What's going on?
I thought it was going to be last. I'm always ready for be last.
All right, Gabe, what's going on? Glad to have you.
How are you?
I'm doing good, Gabe.
Technical difficulties.
Bill wanted to be last. I want to oblige him. So, Gabe, among anybody here, I think you probably had some of the most stuff going on in your life lately. So how have things been treating you for your year off?
Good. We did actually a lot of fun things. Starting almost a year ago now, my daughter was picked to be one of Jay's juniors.
Yeah, that was really. I heard about that. Yeah.
If you've heard of it, but basically they take 20 families to Disney World. All expenses paid, and we did that last December, and it was the best experience I've ever had in my life. And
so I've always wondered,
really something great for my daughter.
With stuff like one of Jay's juniors and stuff like that, is that something that continues on for a while, or is it like a one and done thing, or do they keep?
I think they've been doing it for over like 6 or 7 years now.
I mean, specifically with your kid.
Oh no, it's one and done.
Okay, I didn't know if it was one of those things that once you are, they're constantly helping, they're following up or anything like that. I was just curious. I've known a few times they've done that, but I didn't really know if they kept going on and following up with it. If there's anything more to it, it's really cool that they do it and gives .
Yeah, I think it's everybody in sort of the Michigan area. I think possibly like Ohio and stuff like that, just like northern Ohio. So the listening distance of the radio station.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to bring in, we got 2 more people coming on. We got a full roster tonight, and I absolutely love it. Please welcome in for her first time in a long time, even longer than any of us here, Teresa. What's going on? Hi.
Here today. I'm so excited. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all we need then. No, Teresa, I know you've been very avid with what this show does, and you haven't been on it as much, and I'm glad you finally are going to be on it. You seem really committed to doing it, and I like that, because every time you have been on it, you've said so many things. You have so much good knowledge. especially when it comes to mental welfare, just welfare in general of families and children and stuff, that it really adds to a lot to get that professional perspective that I can say is wrong. And I like that. Even though it's not, you know very much what you're doing. And finally, I want to bring here Bill. Bill, how you doing?
Hey, all right, I'm back.
Yeah, we took a vote. I lost. All right, so Bill, if anybody has missed Ear, Shoulder, Voice more, it's got to be you.
It is.
It's got to be you.
This is my therapy. This is my therapy. You know, I'm the old man. I'm the downer of the group, unfortunately, because of my age. I have more bad things happen in my life than you younger people do, unfortunately. So,
hi, Brandon.
But I've always asked. You know, I'm the one that's bugged the crap out of you forever and ever and ever to get it started back. So,
I try, but you know what? We need people to do it. We need an anxiety, but that's what I wanted to talk about. You know, I really want to talk about that a lot because everybody kind of went their own way, and for some of us, it has been therapy. For a lot of people that watch, a lot of times it's therapy. How has it been therapy for you? What does it really do for you, Bill?
Well, I mean, everyone, you know, they discuss their own thing and everything, and you have topics and stuff like that, and not, you know, acting like I know everything, but I know a little bit about most everything that we've talked about and stuff, and I've had something to do with something, and for me to be able to voice what's happened with me in my life with that part of it and stuff is, you know, is always good, because there's not a whole lot of people that want to sit around and listen to you talk about stuff that's happened, you know.
No, well, that's the whole point. That's one of the reasons we created this show, is because there's not a lot of people. Most people are going to give you a nod. Yeah, they don't really care. How you doing is something you say, not something you feel. You know,
and
what's
then you
going
hit them with
on.
a stun gun, and then they get mad at you. So, you know.
Yeah, and they don't usually want to hear it. And we want to have that open air for everybody to talk through. So we talked a lot about what we do on this show, obviously, and some of the things that we want to change. And I wanted to bring up a couple things before we get into the topics of what's been going on over the last year and stuff, which is, of course, the help we give. The help we give, we try to help, but we're not solving your problems. I want to make sure people who watch this always are aware of that and know that. We're trying to let you know that you are not alone and that other people go through the same thing sometimes. And our solutions may not work for you. They may not be the answer for you, but they just let you know that you can still get through life and you can still make things happen. How do the people on this panel, how have they viewed what we do here? I'll start with you, Nikki, because you've been here longest.
What do you mean? How do I view what we do here?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, just how do you view it as far as it goes? We try to help people. We try to give them an open forum to talk to, but we're not helping them. Do you feel that that's more what we do, or do you feel we're more preachy? What is it?
No, I think that we share real life experiences that we have all lived through, and came out on the other side, and it's kind of like showing the perspective that like really crappy things can happen and we can still survive them. You know, like we can still be here to talk about it, and just having an open forum to give people that chance to talk about things that they've been through. You have no idea how many other people in this world probably think they're the only ones who have. And so it's very relatable because it's very real, raw stuff.
It can be a tricky and a very big border to walk, though, because one thing you have to remember, if you're going through stuff and you've put it behind you, you have to be ready to bring that stuff back up. You have to be ready to talk about it, because if you're not, it can take you in the opposite direction as well. I want to make sure our viewers know that as well.
True.
We're here for you, but also if you're not ready to bring certain things up or the topic doesn't suit you, I don't care about losing viewership. I care about losing a person. So wait for the next show. Wait for something else. You don't have to always bring things up to be on it. I never want to have a negative impact on somebody's life. Does anybody else have anything else to add about what they're happy to be here for? Anybody else?
Well,
I mean,
this is like group therapy.
Go ahead, Bill.
I'm sorry. This is like group therapy without a therapist. You know, I mean, no one here is a therapist, and yes, we better say that out loud so no one takes that the wrong way. But you know, it is. It's like group therapy. You get to sit and talk and listen to other people talk, and even to listening to someone else talk might help you. So.
What were you going to say, Elena?
Well, I was just going to say that, like, my favorite thing about, like, doing these shows is, like, I feel like we really have built, like, a tiny little community of us. like other than Keith, I didn't know any of you guys before these shows started, which is like pretty cool for me, and I really like that. And it is just like we can come on here and we can chat when we do our topic shows. Like we do have people that like have different opinions about things, so that's why I feel like we're never like preachy about anything, because you do see different sides of every coin, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point of letting your voice be heard.
Yeah.
You know, and not being condemned because you have a thought or an opinion on something.
100%.
You know, it may be a stupid opinion, but you know, it's still an opinion. You're allowed to have
Everyone's
it.
entitled to their own
That's
wrong
right.
opinions.
Exactly. Teresa, gave anything to add before we move on?
No, I think my camera's messing up, but I just to
You have the
expand on
best
that-
stills. When your camera
do.
freezes, it's like it's crystal clear. I mean,
Yeah.
so it works.
Well, I wish the video was crystal clear, but yeah, just to expand on that, you know, I didn't know anybody here, and I am someone who is a recluse. You know, I take care of my family and I work, and that's the bulk of my life. So to just have this for myself, even as an outlet to talk to people regarding my experiences in these various situations is therapeutic to me, and you know, hopefully therapeutic to anybody who is listening. without-
It is, because once you
Having a
realize you have somebody out there to relate to, it makes you feel less alone. And when you feel alone is one of the worst things that can happen. You know, because when we're going through a lot of stuff in our lives and we're going through hard times, we don't feel that anybody understands. And you'll listen to somebody like us or somebody else, and you'll be like, I still don't think they fully understand, but they still know what it's like. You know, I'm not in their situation, they're not in mine, but I also know I can make it, and I can get through, and I can be happy. And that's important. That's one of the most important things you can always do. So we've had an entire summer off, obviously, and a entire spring, and it's almost been an entire year, honestly. Our Halloween show was the last show we did, and we're glad to be back. So the world is fucking changing.
Yeah.
Connie's here. She says, Uncle Bill, you have been my therapist all my life.
Aw.
That is awesome. So glad that you have him. I mean, you can keep him, too. We're good with that.
How the hell did she find out this was going on?
You just don't want to admit that people care about you, Bill, so.
No, she's nowhere around here. See, I think she's still over in Japan or something like that. I don't know how she
You
found
don't know
out
how
what was
the
going on.
You don't know how the internets work, do you?
No, I don't.
The webs go all over the place.
I know, but usually she's just satellite phone, so.
Well, that's might be what she's using right now. But at least she's there.
I don't think the
So-
satellite phone works that way, but go ahead.
Bill, you put a post up a while back on Your Shoulder Voice, and you said, if the pandemic's over and everything's supposed to be better, why are we so miserable? How many people on this panel or anybody else, how many people feel like they are more miserable, I guess? I don't want to go as far as saying miserable, but not as happy as they were even though the pandemic's ended. How many people are still struggling?
I think
But
I
I'd say I'm
posted up
still
there about being alone and stuff like that too, and it is. But you had so much things happen during the pandemic and everything like that. People got sick. You know, you lost people. People lost their jobs. Some people just quit their jobs, and people don't go back to work and everything like that. And it all channels up into.
What about you,
Sorry,
Elena?
Elena.
No, you're
I
okay.
wouldn't. I want to say like I'm still struggling in the sense of like how I was before the pandemic, but like I definitely feel much better now that we're past it. Especially because like I'm a service worker, so if there's no services to be had, I'm out of a job. So I'm doing
But
much
I have
better
a-
in
Money
that
is good.
sense.
And I have a question though. So,
Yeah.
why is it they saying the pandemic is over? People are still dying from COVID all over the world.
Well, it's not that the pandemic is over; that it's under control.
Mandates are over.
Yeah, it's under better control where it can be classified like every other virus we had that was once deadly to everybody that contracted it, and now is just something that
But if
people
you still
can
have
catch.
thousands of people dying every day from it,
Yeah, but now you're going away.
I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah.
see any or hear any of that. I just lost it.
Yeah, we lost you too. But now you're going into the territory that people were originally arguing about coronavirus and the pandemic and all that, which was, well, if people are still dying, blah, blah, blah. No, every virus out there kills people. It can, if you get it wrong, it can kill. And it's just starting to be that way. It's
Well, no, I
still a
understand
bad
that.
thing to get.
But they made this into a pandemic.
It
People are
was.
still dying from it, and people are still dying from it. So how is the pandemic over? You know what I'm saying?
Because it's
there's
not being mass spread
treatable-
with mass death. Yeah, there's ways to.
something to treat it, as far as medicine and tactics and things like that are better than the respirator options and things.
Most
Well, no, I
people-
understand that. But if
that
you
they
still
were
got 1,000
beginning-
people dying every day, extra than whatever else was going on in the world, it's not that much under control if the people are still dying from it.
Yeah, but you could
also
say the
have
same
people
thing
dying
about,
from flu.
yeah, the regular flu, cancer, pneumonia.
Or
I mean, no
cancer.
matter
Right, but they
what it
never-
is.
But what I'm saying is they've never considered that a pandemic.
Well,
No.
AIDS was a pandemic.
Yeah.
AIDS still kills. It still
AIDS
kills thousands a year.
AIDS and HIV was big, but they never called that a pandemic.
Yeah, they called AIDS a pandemic. Yes, they did. AIDS was a pandemic.
And it's more so, they've spent trillions of dollars. They've got it under control enough to where they don't want to directly affect businesses. When it comes to things like that, we've made major shifts when it comes to working from home, yada, yada, yada. There's many things that aren't as dangerous now when it comes to affecting, the virus, but
Right.
it's also to a certain degree has with certain variations it's decreased so that the odds are better to get through.
It's less severe now. I mean, the mutations have it is mutated to the point that it's much more easily treatable for a lot of people, not everybody. So the odds of dying from getting COVID, I mean, now people are getting COVID. Yeah, I got COVID. I'm out for a week. And, that's it.
And it's
not
fine.
like, yeah. And some people will still get it bad. It will be bad. But at some point, you've also got to let go because you're never going to hit a zero death policy with this virus. So you've got to have a defining definition of this is no longer something that we should be afraid of and locking ourselves in our homes over.
Right.
Hi there, Cynthia. How you doing? Glad to have you here.
I will be right back.
All right, sounds good. Okay, so speaking of getting through things, pandemic was cured very, very quickly, according to a lot of people. It came out too quickly. Is that a scary thing that they can develop vaccines so quickly? Is it without going the whole engineered thing or, it's a political thing or anything like that? No matter what, they came up with a vaccine very fast. Is that scary the way technology moves in this sense? Is it a lie?
It is, and there's also, it's scary, the fact that coronavirus was listed on the back of a can of Lysol aerosol spray for years and years and years before anyone ever thought or heard about it.
Well, coronavirus, they're different. They're different mutations of coronavirus. Coronavirus is COVID-19 because it's a strain found in 2019. Or is it the 2019 or the 19th strain? I can't remember which it is, but it's a different
I think
strain.
it's 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I couldn't remember. I know there's been arguments. I used to know it, and then I've read so many arguments about it, I can't remember which one was actually true.
Right.
Anyway.
I think it's great how fast we can pump out solutions to problems. I think different things about technology that's happening these days can be scary, but I don't think that's one of them.
I want to get into AI in a bit.
Yeah.
On that because it's fascinating.
Yeah.
But
So you like the fact that they pumped that out, and I understand that, but the fact that they can come up with a cure for this that quick,
I think that means we have very smart people working
I
the
think-
correct job.
and if you work the other end of it, you might think that we have some people who have known about this for a long time, and we've had the cure, or we've had a medicine to make it better, and it hasn't been put out there.
how do you have a cure for something not yet even discovered?
Because
COVID-19
so
was
they can
based
develop
on-
it off of that.
No, I understand that, but COVID-19 named so because the first outbreak was 2019.
Mm.
How are we sitting on a cure already for that we're just hiding in our pocket for everybody to get? And number two, what is with all the fucking negativity of the world today? Why does everything that happen have to be a negative? Why, if there's a cure, they've had it the whole time? Why, if AI is here, it's because they're doing this? Why, if we get injected, it's because there's microchips? Why, if an election's lost, it's because it's fraud? Why, if, if somebody gets thrown out of court, political, but somebody loses in court, it's because they were backed on the other side. There's always a negative. Why are we living such a negative life? Can you name anything that's happened that was big that everybody gave a positive response to?
No. I think a lot of that has to do with COVID and people being locked in their house for so long because there was nothing else to do other
You're
than
always
to
gonna have
bitch and moan
conspiracy
about
theorists.
everything else.
I mean, the conspiracy is one thing. I don't mind that we've had conspiracies for so many years. There we go, get you back in order. Okay.
That's technical support for you.
Yeah, I know. Well, we handle it. But why is the first instinct, do you think, who is guilty of that? Honestly, if you're being honest with yourself, we're a very open forum. And out there in the chat, who is guilty of every time something big happens that you think it is because of something negative that caused it?
It's the government.
That's what I'm talking about, no matter what it
So
is.
Bill thinks that.
I think that it's a lot of people have that tendency to go to the negative. I know for myself for a long time, that was where I would always go is like, oh, this is terrible and that's terrible. But it's become for me an act of like looking at something and like kind of shutting down that negative response immediately and trying to look to the positive. So instead of like with the COVID vaccine saying like, oh, the negative, like, oh, we had this and we were sitting on it just saying like, thank goodness people's lives were saved because of it. But for me, I felt like that was, I don't know, life experience, learning history kind of like dated me a little bit. And I had to fix it in myself because I realized if I kept that negative mindset, that's all I would be. And I didn't like how I was that way. So I had to like turn it around and say like, okay, but what's the positive side of it? And after conditioning myself for a long time to like just look at the positive, that I feel like I've become a more positive person through it.
Do you find that negativity still creeps up on you suddenly in certain situations and you gotta like take it back?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And if I let it go, like if I let myself kind of ponder on those negative thoughts, then I feel like I go downhill really quickly. So I've got to kind of keep it in check for myself.
Connie says it's always the government. They're even responsible for me losing my truck keys. Well, truck keys is a big thing. I know that is due to the
Listen.
government, okay?
She's
It's the
posting
CIA.
that up. She's posting that up because she lost her truck keys and she blamed it on me. She's using this as retaliation for him, and she blamed it on me. And then she found him and said, "I must have hit him underneath the seat of her truck." So,
Your
Well, now she's
government, ain't
blaming
you?
the government, so.
yeah,
Bill's government.
I think
He's
you're
been
in the
government the
clear
whole
now.
time.
Bill is so
CIA,
anti-government,
Bill.
you wouldn't believe it.
Okay, so Nikki, I'm going to turn to you in the same conversation we're having because, and I don't mean to be singling you out when I'm saying it this way, but I know you're one that also goes to the negative of a lot of situations, believing that it's the negative. Is that something you do consciously, or what leads you to that a lot of times? Like if there is a negative aspect of something, you're more prone to believe the conspiracy versus the what is perceived as reality, because it might not be true. I'll grant you that.
No, I don't think that's a fair. Yeah, I don't think that's a fair assessment. Obviously I view things from a different side of the fence as most of everybody else here, and I'm okay with that. But when
I don't think you do.
when my perception of things, I don't think I always turn to the negative. I'm actually very much like Teresa. I try to have a very positive thought process. However, if we're getting into like conspiracies and governmental tactics and all of that, I don't trust our government. So I'm always questioning things. It's something that was
Well, that's kind of what I mean. I think I came off wrong with the question because I wasn't trying to say you're a negative person or anything. But I know, like, okay, I'm going to use the election example, but I don't want to talk election. Okay, the election took place. The person you wanted lost. We say it's a fair election, but the minute somebody says it was a rigged election, you're going to research that side. Now, without talking the election, what makes you pick the negative side that it had to be a cheat, it had to be dishonesty? And this goes for everybody on the panel. Like, is there anything that clicks in your head that makes you think, I've got to research this? I'm curious, really.
I actually don't ever pick one side. I actually do equal research. Like, I'll look at both sides to see. But, however, I am guilty. Like, if I come across information that may take me down this hole, and, like, I fall into holes very often.
Right.
And, it influences my opinion, obviously. But at the same time, I'm like I don't know. I'm this, like, fairy tale, like, I don't know. I just live in a different world, I guess.
No, it's totally okay. It's totally okay to follow that, because there's one thing that you do that people fail to do as well, is look at the facts, because maybe there is a negative side that they're not seeing as well. When they go strictly with the honest positive side, oh, everything was perfect, they're not seeing the negativity as well. What you're doing is not wrong, but as Teresa said, she used to be kind of that person, and I find that I'm more that person in my real life more than the things going on around me. I'm that same way. Anybody does anything for me, there is something attached. It is completely negative. Somebody put them up to it. I have a hard time believing anything in my life is for a good reason.
That's because that everything that you've done for people in their lives, mostly, they always want something back. There's always a hook to it,
But it ends up, and where I was going with the negativity on the big things as well as the personal things, is because it ends up taking you to the point that even the good things you view negatively. And it puts you in a world you don't want to live in, that you have to question everything going on. And for me, it's more of a personal thing. Nikki, for you, it's a little bit on the side of the thing. Teresa, it was pretty much a world thing for you. I don't know if Elena and Gabe have done that at all or been in that situation.
I like to think that I'm a very glass half full type of person. I for sure like to think that, and I can think of so many, like, situations just in my regular life, because, like, Brandon, my husband, he can be a pretty glass half empty kind of person, and something will go wrong and he'll immediately be like, well, now this is, like, if we're late to an event, he's like, well, now this is going to happen, and now we're going to be late to the next thing, and now this, and this. And then we'll get there, and I'm like, okay, well, so-and-so, who we weren't super pumped on seeing, just left. So it worked out. It's all good. Like,
And what were you going to say, Gabe?
For me, my entire personality is one of situational awareness when it comes to things that may happen. So my paranoia for every situation can definitely always be at the back of my mind, whether that be large scale or,
So
day to day, as far as trying to get my child from point A to point B, or driving for 10 hours a day, things like that. Just as far as that is concerned, if you're creative, which I think most of us are, you can get that convulsive type of thinking, because you can imagine, you have the imagination to think of the best and the worst thing that could possibly happen. So that
do you tend to lean, you what you said is true, you have the capability to think of the best and the worst. Do you tend to lean to one side?
So I try to stay idle. I'm definitely darker thoughts and things like that I constantly try to balance out with positive thinking, for sure.
So Teresa, you're apparently one of the strongest people here. Because when it comes to that, I think you might be, because you were fully able to take yourself from one direction and flip yourself to another one. is there any words you can give for anybody else who is often in your situation? Any thoughts you can do? Because that's one thing a lot of people struggle with. That's why you can't help people a lot of times when they're not doing well, because they feel there's something attached. There's something wrong.
Well,
Um,
not only that, but it's like, I'm sorry. So
no.
it's like no matter what you feel or what you're told, it's sort of like if you're dating a bad boyfriend or girlfriend, right?
All of them.
You can't be told that. That's something you have to figure out on your own. I think that expands to that type of situation where, you know, you can get someone trying to pep you up all you want and things like that, but it's only in your own mindset that you're either going to tell yourself, all right, I'm tired of this. I'm so tired of this year after year after year. I'm going to make a change, or else you don't. So,
What were your things, Teresa? How did you manage this?
First, I think I need to maybe say, like, I definitely don't have a worldview that, like, everything's amazing and sunshine and roses. It's
I
not.
wouldn't like you if you did.
It's just that, and I do also read a lot, research a lot, look at things a lot, and some things are bad. And I'm not gonna say I love a good conspiracy or false. Like sometimes, just because the human mind is so fascinating to me, like I'll dive down a rabbit hole with everyone else. And whatever.
Oh, conspiracies are great.
So that's fun. But as far as like just keeping that positive mindset, like I feel like some of the stuff that I did was just so kind of cheesy, but this is what it is. Post-it notes with like positive sayings, positive things. I did a lot of like affirmations. I did a lot of like literally when I started perseverating on something that was negative. This is crazy, but literally I would say out loud, stop. Like almost correcting myself, like stop it right now. And it would like just bring me back, like remind me, like, okay, like we're spending too long on these like negative thought patterns that are cycling out of control. But honestly, literally a lot of that. And when I tell you that I would literally say stop out loud, a couple of times my kids are like, what? I'm like,
But it helps you, and I think that's what a lot of people need to find.
they do it now because I modeled it for them. And then now they're like, oh yeah, you know, so they do that too sometimes where they're just like, okay, stop. We need to stop this and like retrain to something more positive. But it was really that. I love words. So if I find a good quote, I'll write it down on a sticky note. I've actually got a wall of them in my office that I've even had other people come in and they're like, we love your positive notes just because it brightens everyone's day. So
That's what people need to do in here a lot of times. It's little things like that. You find something that works for you, and that obviously did. And, you know, that's Tree's treatment. We'll go with that, and that'll eventually be a big thing. You know, if people do it, it could become something like that because anything that reinforces positivity is going to help you. Surrounding yourself with negativity does not, and being alone and having no one around is also negativity that's hard to escape from. Connie is right here. She said, anytime anything political happens, people believe it's the government's fault because no politician is honest. And that's
really
the problem. That is the problem. But actually, the biggest problem is that last part, that no politician is honest. Because the thing is that politicians are honest. The politicians you hear about are not. And it gives them all such a bad name. I mean, tens of thousands of people work for the government. How many do you know? How many do you really know? You'll hear about 20, 30 of them in the news. And usually because they did something wrong.
Yeah, you hear about the elected officials who are running this country, and when they got elected, they said they're going to do this and this and this and this and this, and they don't do that.
You only hear about the shit starters. That's the ones, because we can even go as far as Congress. How many of those people do you actually know? They're all elected officials. How many can you name? 10 maybe? Of all
Are you talking about know personally or know about them? All you can
even
learn
know about
someone,
them.
All you can learn about them is what you read online or hear from the news or anything like that. So until they get convicted of something.
But that's
so.
what I'm saying. The shit starters. That's who you're hearing about. And it's giving every one of those other, I mean, Elena, what you said, about 10 of them maybe?
Yeah.
You know, and you've
On a
got,
good day.
yeah,
A good day.
Well, it's the ones that have really elevated to the Instagram generation and things like that. You know,
Mhm.
it's that same thing where politicians are going for likes now, and they're going for hits and views.
and the best way to do that is get a hand job while watching Beetlejuice. Just
Well,
saying.
there you go.
It's the best way to do it.
A little play, that's right. But that's the thing. It's, you know, if you are in the news, regardless, because it used to matter what how you were perceived, but now it doesn't.
Something's gone to the extreme, which is bad publicity is still publicity, you know. Any publicity is still publicity. And that's gone to the extreme that we don't care. As long as we're in front of your face, you're thinking about us. And the problem is we all are. And we're blaming all government. We're not even blaming all government anymore. We're blaming everybody who has ever thought you were a good person. Everybody on your side who might have voted for you. Every single person in the country, not just government people. We are hating each other. We are stabbing at each other consistently. We are, you know, disowning you as friends, as family, anything like that, because you do not agree with somebody who we can all agree politicians suck.
Yes.
And that they're liars and all this stuff, even as Connie said. But yet we back them up when it comes to our family and friends. How do they rank above us?
But this is the first time we've ever done that, really. Right? So
It is, but now it's
Now
been going on 7 years.
right, but and this is the first time we've done it, but now it's celebrity. Like, you know, I've liked past presidents, things like that. But if anybody ever was to talk poorly of them, I just wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Because that's not a direct. That affects me in zero way, you know, in no way whatsoever. But now people are claiming ownership, right? To not just politics, but to everything. Everything is put in this nice little package. This is exactly who I am. And there's a lot of people that are going into that and saying, oh, well, this is me, and no matter if you're not even talking to me at all, if I'm talking about some guy who's 3,000 miles away in a different state, and I will never meet him, I have never known him, you know, regardless of whether it's the current president or the past one, it just doesn't matter, you know. So
That's what I spent a lot of time, especially during these elections and stuff, saying to people, you're really not affected like you think you are. You're making your life about this, but it really is not affecting your life.
It's
Right now,
irrelevant.
something major that's affecting our life is inflation. The price we're paying on stuff, that is truly affecting our lives. But almost everything else everybody has argued about isn't. And inflation isn't even a government problem. It's a corporate problem.
I went grocery shopping today, and I bought food for 2 meals and a couple of snacks, laundry detergent and toilet paper, and I spent $127. It was like almost, I wanted to cry on my way out of the grocery store.
$6.
Yeah.
That's like,
$6.
Elena snacks on laundry detergent and toilet paper.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I eat.
Well, you said a couple snacks, and
You got to be careful with Tide Pods. They keep those shit locked up now.
I know.
Yeah, but the thing is not only have the prices went up, but the quality of the food has got worse, and the
That's
portions
awful.
have got smaller. My peanut butter Captain Crunch has no peanut butter flavor anymore. You know what kind of shit that is?
You
Bullshit.
know, kind of shit it always was.
Not enough.
It's worse. That's the most awful thing in the world. Jimmy Dean breakfast sandwiches are down 1/3 of size.
They're like a
We
size
were
of a
talking
quarter
about that the
now.
last show we did. We all know
just-
Bill's very upset about the Jimmy Dean breakfast.
It kills me.
Jimmy Dean Gate.
All right, so let's move on a little bit with the. We're talking about how people take things so negatively, and we brought it up. AI has happened since our last show. It has blown up since our last show. We have not been on. We have not talked about it all. Good or bad? Is it good? Raise your hand.
It's good
Can I
for the
be-
people who know how to use it.
Can I be middle
One.
ground?
Right. Me too, Elena.
Yeah, like I'm in the middle.
I'm Switzerland.
Yeah.
I'm Switzerland.
I feel like it
Same.
could be really good and it could be terrifying.
Yeah.
Same.
I think a lot of the things that people are doing it with, I mean, a lot of the things that I see are people making different cartoon characters sing songs. I love that. That's great. We need more of that. We need less of people making different people, their voices say things that they don't agree with.
Deep fakes are good. Deep fakes are scary.
Yeah,
Yes.
deep fakes are terrifying. Like, lucky for like, no one's ever gonna do a deep fake of me because it's a waste of time. You know what I mean? But like,
Wait till our next show.
different celebrities, like that could ruin someone. Like that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It definitely has to be safeguards, but the fear I'm talking about is the technology itself.
Yeah.
The idea of artificial intelligence advancing as fast as it is that scary? Not what we can do with it. What it can do with it.
Right.
I mean,
I feel
yeah.
like it could be. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
I mean, I think it has the potential to be really fucking scary. But, I mean,
You started, I thought you were like potential for good.
oh no. I mean, maybe too. It just, as fast as technology advances, where will this take us? Like, what is after AI? Like, what comes next? Holograms? Like, can we,
Hopefully.
I mean, the sky's the limit, right?
Like
The
how long
Skynet.
until we're 3D printing human-sized robots? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
They already have one.
Pretty much, we're pretty much there for the
They
most
already have
part.
They have one that's fully functional now.
Oh, yeah.
Detroit is home to the first 3D printed home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, they're gonna
My
put it on
husband
the
works in
market.
3D
They're
printing,
gonna
so
put
it's
it on
really
the
good for
market down
us.
there for $290,000 or something. And it's like, guys,
How is AI different? How is what we have now really different? And I'm asking this because I get in arguments with people all the time who thinks AI is going to destroy us. Skynet, Terminator, all that shit.
iRobot.
Yeah. But how is it really different? I mean, everything from machine-based stuff, electrical, robotic machinery, which has existed now for, 50, 60 years, easily mainstream, was going to destroy us.
sure.
The fact that Google Home or Siri or Hey
Don't say the
Google,
other one.
Siri, Alexa, just in case anybody's got one. I was like,
I call it water.
oh shit, it went off on mine. Okay. I was like,
Yeah, I just heard it.
That's listening.
that was scary. The fact that the internet alone came out and you could find out any information was scary and going to destroy us. The fact that Google was able to search for things started to get scary. How is this really that big of a different evolution? What Photoshop can do is what AI can do. It took a human to do it before, and it still takes one. Is it just a regular step in evolution?
I think so.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think it can be
it's-
scary because now it can teach itself things instead of like
Yes.
we have less control over it.
Yes.
At least we could have less control over it. So I think that there is potential for fear, but I don't think we're there yet.
I think the biggest thing is what we give it access to.
Well, yeah.
Right.
A lot of
100%.
that has something to do with it.
Yeah.
What about
And-
you, Gabe? You're a tech person, and Bill, go ahead too. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, we are giving access to everything now because what we're doing right now, having Facebook page, going on whatever those TikTok, Twitter, follow all that shit, and stuff like that. You're giving them access. If you want to be able to do what you want to do, you have to give them access to this and give them access to this and give them access to this.
Mm-hmm. Is that
And
wrong?
They know all about you. They know about everybody else in the world that's doing it. So once they have access to that type of thing and stuff like that, I mean, you got so many people right now stealing identities offline and stuff like that and doing different stuff like that because they can tap into this because this has access to all your records. So
Yeah,
Is
it
it
just
wrong?
happened to me. That they do that, is it wrong?
Yeah, is it wrong that they have that access? That the companies
Yeah.
have that access, not hackers. Okay, hackers and identity theft, that's existed for a long time in different ways. There's more ways to do it now. But
Yeah.
also the old ways don't work anymore.
Right.
So, they have to advance too. Hackers
not
have
be
to make a
wrong.
living.
Right, and it may not be wrong that they have the access, not the hackers, but the companies. But it is wrong that they don't have the security to protect your state, what you
Right.
give them.
Well, what security could they have?
I mean, firewalls. There's got to be something.
You're naming all the protocol. You're not all one of them, but out of many that they use, that they have. That's all stuff they use and stuff they do. No matter what you have, people are going to find a way around it. We want technology to work for us, but we do not want to give way as a society, and I have a problem with that.
But that's the thing. So if you're going to be forced in a completely different way, first off, the corporations already have the technology. They are the ones that have it, patent it, and use it. So you, in a lot of regards, you've already had AI working for us
Yes.
for a long time when it comes to, rerouting your trip on Google or things like that.
No.
Now it's going to be just as evasive as it was prior, but now it's going to compile all of that and make you into a digital image for a corporation to sell or lease out to the highest bidder and say, hi, this is Gabriel. This is exactly what he wants for the rest of his life. And you can own it for a rental fee and exploit it through various ads and things like that. I watched Hulu. I watched Only Murders in the Building, Steve Martin, right? The next day, one of their songs was recommended to me on Spotify, right? So we are going to progress when it comes to that. If we think it's going to end at commerce, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind if you think
Okay,
corporations are just going to stop there.
but is this a bad thing? That's my biggest problem with that. People are saying, like, go on Facebook, the next thing you know, this is advertising this. Or I was talking to my friend, they're catering advertising to you. We've dealt with advertisements our whole life. We didn't get a choice in what we watched. We could be guys watching a football game and then have to watch a tampon commercial. Something.
It can be. It can be exploitative. It can
I think it's
pinpoint-
beneficial. I find it handy that I'm thinking about getting something or talking with somebody, and I may have forgotten about it, and it's going to pop up in my feed. I'm like, that's kind of cool.
But what if, say, a corporation wanted to change your mind on something, right?
That's what advertisement is to begin
But
with.
I mean, through a series of minor brainwashing technologies, whether that be ads, whether that be articles, or sort of fake articles and posts and comments and things like that.
As far as stuff about being fake and spreading false information directed specifically to you to change your mind is obviously something I or anybody should be against. But as far as just pushing things because you're listening to me, that's how technology moves. I mean, it's no different than showing different things on TV because your ratings are better at a certain time frame because more people can view it. It's a broader way of doing it now with more individual reach than ever before, but everything has always been manipulated to fit within what we say we want collectively. And I don't think this is much different. Connie says, being who I am, my recommendation for AI is to get a bunker and some weaponry. That is a very, very good idea.
31,000.
Keith, I think I agree with you though. Like, The whole like our phones are listening to us, and I've said this before. I've gotten in arguments with people before of just like, oh, your phone's listening to you all the time, like someone's listening to you all the time. I'm like, yeah, and their job is super boring. Like I don't care. Like that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not plotting something that's like gonna be really bad. I'm gonna get like I'm not
Right.
doing that. So like that's fine. If you guys want to listen to my conversations, have a blast. Like I do not care.
How you doing, Leonard? Just want to say hi. Well, that's the whole thing, and that's where people also get messed up too. There's not an individual sitting there listening to you.
Right.
You know, there's not. It's a machine that's taking it as data input and figuring out what it should do next. There's not one person that's literally looking in on you. In order to see this information, you can bring it up. You can go back and find out what this person was doing, what they did Google, what they did say. But again, stuff like that has existed in different forms for centuries. Whether only thing is it's a digital trail instead of a paper trail, but it's still a trail.
Yeah.
So what if you take a situation, for instance, say someone has a horrible gambling addiction or a alcoholism, things like that, and you wanted to exploit that and get them to break down into either going to the casino or having a drink. Right. If your constant bombardment of ads from every way can, due to an AI algorithm, sort of leads you into relapsing, things like that. Do you think that is harmful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Harmful, yes. But you're not going to stop it. Again, take your commercials. People who watch football drink beer. When do they show these beer commercials the most?
Sure.
You know, and if you're an alcoholic, does it mean you got to give up football?
I think
They're
what
going
Gabe's
to-
saying is like the AI taking it further than that.
Yeah.
But but again, that's what I have the issue with. Is you're assuming of AI taking it into the negative direction. Instead of possibly being smart enough to say, you're an alcoholic, we're not going to show you these ads.
Right, but the thing funding everything, like corporations are going to do whatever they can to make more money. Corporations do not care that Joe down the street's an alcoholic. They want to
No,
sell
because
Joe
the-
beer.
That's not true, because if you are an alcoholic, you've turned instead of beer, you're getting a Big Mac. So instead, we're going to take McDonald's money to show you that Big Mac commercial instead of the alcohol commercial, something you will utilize.
Yeah, but
versus
then there's
trying to
Or
put
will they show rehab or like that?
or
would be
anything.
possible.
Everything they could show as an alternative would still be paid by a corporation. To assume that they're going to take it and make it negative, I think is the wrong way to look at things, even though it's possible. Granted, because what you're saying I think is totally possible. They could do that, but it also could be used in the exact same way to help. You know, maybe you're fat like me, okay, and I want to lose weight, and my phone knows I want to lose weight and shit. Well, instead of showing me these fast food commercials, fucking, Healthy Choice is going to come on there. Weight Watchers commercials are going to come on there. The Factor meals and stuff like that are going to come on there because I'm trying to watch what I'm doing, watch what I'm eating. I think that is a good thing to show less of what we want and more things we are prone to buy. Because if that's truly what we're doing, it would be beneficial to show things we're prone to buy versus pulling us off of our wagon.
I see what you're saying. I think it's easier for companies to just exploit people, though. I think it's easier for them to do that. So I think that it is what they could end up doing because it's easier.
Yeah, because it's all about majority shareholders. It's all about inflating the bottom line every single year. I work for a corporation, unnamed, but in just like many other corporations, have a tremendous amount of outsourcing and things like that when it comes to jobs and things like that. So it's money is the bottom line. So any way to get it, year over year, is the marquee, is the mission statement, you know?
Well, Connie says most of the big corporations are political and government influencers, which granted is true. To me, this is where AI is more powerful because AI isn't a person. AI does have the ability to cater to us regardless of influence like that. If AI does its job as it's supposed to, it will filter and cater to us as individuals and what we're looking for, if it does its job as it should. And most of the people working on AI are not part of government. Most of the people that develop this are not political parties. These
as
are
far
people.
as we know.
They started this when computers, they started this shit like 25 years ago, the original OpenAI Corporation.
Yeah.
OCP, RoboCop. Okay.
Don't tell me you're down with OCP.
You know, but OCP.
That was awful, Keith. Oh.
If OCP is doing prime directives, then regardless of what the AI wants to do, if it has laws in place set down by the corporations, then it's not going to benefit you. It's going to benefit. It's going to benefit OCP.
But is it really going to hurt to try to think in the positive sense?
Well, again, there's
Because everything you said is true, and I actually agree. Everything you said is very possible, but it's all based on an if. It could.
Everyone should be cautiously optimistic.
That's
Yes.
great way to say it. Absolutely great way to say it,
Yes.
Lynn. And that's really what I'm getting at. And that was the whole point of my questioning earlier. Why do we shift to the negative possibilities instead of this is something to improve our life, something to make it better, scary as it is, and it's scary. I did a wedding about a month and a half ago, and the guy who was marrying him just found out he was marrying him. Like, he had no idea. So he pulled his phone and says, write me a wedding speech. And it did. And it was a great one. A wedding ceremony. And it was a great one. In a sense, that's some scary shit.
And
Because it was very believable how it wrote it. In the other sense, he just made somebody's job a hell of a lot easier that he can get other things done with. He just taught him a lot. He just made things better for himself. And that was thanks to AI. He didn't have to, and this is the big example of that, he didn't have to Google it, where Google will show you a bunch of ads in your search for something that are prioritized. He asked AI to do it, who said, I'm not pushing or advertising anything, here's what you asked for.
Well, I also
And-
think that in that same example, something that could be another thing that's scary about AI is a lot of people could lose jobs because now AI can do those jobs.
Yeah.
That's why everyone should be in the service industry, because you can't teach AI how to deliver someone a
hair.
beer. Or
I
cut
used to
hair.
be on
wait.
your side till COVID. Because I thought I was
There-
golden in the service industry.
they're making
Hopefully-
machines to make salads. They're making machines to make chimichangas and something else now.
But
and it's automatically all there.
Who's bringing the chimichanga to the customer?
Right.
A person.
No, they walk up there and they push a button and it does
That
it.
is getting to be a thing too.
Until a
They-
machine's cutting
But-
someone's hair, I'm
They got
safe.
the sucky thing.
But
Mhm.
my thing was Keith said earlier, why are we scared about it? Hollywood. They make the movies before people
Yeah.
actually know anything about what's going on. They made Terminator, they made all those movies and stuff, and the people there's a lot of people that don't know anything that's going on, and all of a sudden they see this, and then they hear about this other stuff that's going on in the government, and all of a sudden they go,
And of course, all these people also think, "Oh my God, they knew about it way back then. It's been around that long. That's why they wrote the movie about it."
that's right.
Well, Teresa, you're quiet. You're gonna be the one I constantly. You're gonna be my Anthony on here. Like you haven't said anything in a minute. What's your thoughts on all this?
She's saying everyone's crazy. I'm not coming back. Oh.
You know what? I can see good and bad. I can, the points that everyone's made, I definitely can see where, like you said, if you ask a question, it gives you what you need and you don't have to wade through all that other stuff to get your answers. But I'm not going to lie. not super technological as far as stuff like that goes. So the unknown, I think, is what's kind of scary to me. Is like, how far can it go? Um, and I think that in a lot of cases, that's probably where a lot of people go to that extreme, like I'm terrified about it. It's so scary. It's so whatever. Is because it comes out of that fear of the unknown, and what we don't know, what we don't understand, is obviously more frightening to us than things that we have a great understanding and knowledge of.
It's exactly what happened with these. When they came out and people were afraid of everything they could do, and at that time the best they could do was play Snake. And
Right.
what they've become, and this is one thing people can't live without, and it is more scary, I think, still than AI in every way.
Well, it is AI.
Well, I mean, it's AI is poorly named because the truth is AI is not AI. AI is not really artificial intelligence. It's only called it. AI cannot think for itself.
Well,
What they have right now.
official part.
Well, artificial intelligence is programming something artificially to think like a human, to be able to think for yourself, which it currently cannot do. It cannot randomly generate information truly. It can research, it can do that. When we hit that step, that is a time for concern. There's one simple problem that it can do, and once it can do that, be worried. And that is give it the capability to generate a random number. No computer can do that. And as long as a computer can't do that, it's incapable of thinking for itself. All it can do, it can go by algorithms, it can go by computer ticks and time cycles to figure out what should be a random number, but it cannot truly think of a random number. Or word. But Johnny Five was alive.
I loved that movie.
That was a great movie. I just think it's poorly named because I think calling it AI also scared a lot of people even more. Because AI, I mean, obviously now you know what it is, and people are more excited for the stuff that it can do, and it's creepy. The stuff it can draw, the music it can make, the deep fakes it can do, all that shit is creepy as hell. I would say that's a fad, but I don't think it is. I think that's going to be a fight ahead of us, 100%. They do have to find a way to watermark them and digitally watermark them, not something you can see or anything like that, just some way to identify anything artificial. But then you run into the problem about watermarking real things.
Yeah, and it's tainting the pool of the human creative process, right? So when you're looking at things on websites or whatever, when it comes to artwork and music and stuff like that, now you're going to have this stuff, just loads and loads of stuff that's generated, and some of it's really good by computers. So the creative process and just the love for everything creative, I think, is going to be tainted and devalued because it's so easy to reproduce.
I think your argument is too late. I think that already happened with when I held the phone. I think that already happened. And it took us to a point that I think for a lot of people, it almost makes them rely on AI because basic skills are lost. Basic education for a lot of kids these days has been lost. You know, kids don't know math. Basic math and how to do it. They don't know history anymore because we're not allowed to teach it and stuff. Phones gave them all the answers they were looking for, and AI is going to be worse. And I'm actually on the negative side of that, on your side. But I think if we weren't dumbed down by our phones, as a society, not us individually, because we're better than everybody else, but if we weren't dumbed down by our phones, this wouldn't have happened. But I can't say it's lack of creativity, because the possibilities of somebody be able to think or say what they want to do and make it happen can just make us burst out of the seams in creativity. Because sometimes we have the vision, but don't have the ability to make it real. And I think there's a lot of thoughts that could benefit this world if we got that capability.
especially in the medical industry.
And yeah, that's what I. That's one of the.
For when it comes to law, and you know, if you need to look up, like say, a case for a lawyer or something like that, in order to fight to get somebody off or something like that, you can have a computer do that. If you're looking to do research, cancer research, things like that, AI, you can finally, you know, have multiple computers just trying to generate different situations and lab tests and things like that. So I think in those instances, it's going to be incredible. I think there's going to be leaps
The
and
biggest
bounds
thing
when it comes to
I've been looking forward to with AI is I'm imagining that COVID comes around again, another form of it, something else. And literally AI is able to see what it is and use all the research worldwide done on every disease, say, okay, this is how we fix it. Because it can do far more work than any researcher can right now. And it can use all the knowledge of all of them. And I think that's going to be a huge benefit for us in the future. To be able, not just COVID, but around cancer, AIDS, everything that people have worked to make little strides on, it could just skyrocket the capabilities. I'm looking forward to that. I think it'll be beneficial for us. But it is scary stuff. What were you going to say, Teresa? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was just saying that I think I agree with what you were saying, that we're already there, but also to Gabriel's point is that I do think that that's something that could potentially could increase as the abilities increase, that creativity is more and more lost when it comes to those things, when it comes to creating and that artistic part of it. Like, we don't have to be creative because we have these abilities to do it. Like, we don't have to take the time to create because we can just like or talk and then it comes. So I do agree with you that we're there already, but I do also, I think, agree with you that
it's going to make things a lot easier for those without passion. For those without incentive to make it better, it's going to make life a lot easier, and I think this shit's going to get lost. It's no different than people right now having their film cameras and putting a whole bunch of bullshit B movies on Netflix. You know, because they can, because the technology is there for people to do it every day. It's going to make creativity, you're right, it's going to destroy that part of creativity. But also you got to face facts that people have to program this technology.
Yeah.
People have to create these abilities. And everything we've ever had way before our lives even was something that came along and made the job easier and made the job obsolete for people before it. And it's going to happen, but there's always going to be something more. We live on a planet on its surface. Who cares if it solves every one of our problems? That's going to make it so we can explore more vast regions of the universe. Like, we can just grow, and there's always something new to discover. There's always something new to find out. There's always going to be something new. And sometimes we might not be able to achieve it without the help of artificial intelligence, but again, that's help. Yeah. So I think it's going to open the world of possibilities we just can't fathom yet. Nobody in their right mind 100 years ago fathomed a cell phone. Nobody. They didn't fathom a computer.
Yeah, let alone a cell phone that is a computer.
Yeah.
Well, when I lived in the cave, we had our own type of cell phone. It was a little different, but you know.
You tied the rock with a note to the dodo bird, and the dodo bird flew and dropped it off. I remember that.
No. You shot it with a slingshot across, and yeah.
That's Angry Birds.
Same thing.
I can't wait to
Potato.
talk to a AI support call center and then be transferred to an AI supervisor.
Do you think that the AI is going to change its voice for you? Like, hello, this is Mike. I am the supervisor.
I'm hoping for,
Can you opt for English?
It may, if I like for the Irish accent, perhaps just to calm you. It may.
Just
Great day
right
for the
now,
race.
half the time when you call a corporation, you get the machine and you like give it your information or whatever, you still hear the machine typing. It's like,
but it's not even
typing. Like, stop. It drives me insane. My sister and I were talking about that earlier today, actually.
And it's not the machine. It's the guy sitting over there that has his barn animals in his front room. and he's just not talking to you, and he's punching the buttons. And then when you don't get that through, then you actually talk to the guy, and all of a sudden you hear his rooster crowing and his sheep are in the background going, "Meh."
But that's,
And you can't even hear what he's saying because all that.
Everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I've called call centers. I can tell they're just sitting on their patio. bullshit.
They don't listen
I
to
can
you
hear
anymore.
Birds. I can hear birds in the background. I can hear nature. You know, it sounds like a place I want to be. On the phone.
You're like,
And yet,
can you just
here
help
I
me
am.
really quick, and then you can get back on with your glorious day of sitting outside.
Right.
More mojito.
You know what? It actually will probably help with stuff like that. But yeah, the call centers suck. They don't listen to you at all. They're literally just, they read off a script and they move you in the exact direction the script tells them to. They
No
don't
matter
actually
what
even
you
listen
say
to
to
what
them.
you say. It doesn't.
No matter what you say.
I called
yeah.
Samsung. I went for like 2 weeks because they sent me a broken phone, brand new phone, and they wouldn't replace it. Yeah, I had to repeat my story every single transfer. And literally, I would tell them the entire story of what I went through. So, what's your problem?
I just told you.
So, did you? Yeah, they don't listen. It's literally just generating. That's things that makes it scary as well.
I recently just found the worst call center in the entire world, and it's calling your health insurance customer service line. It is horrible. I had to go in to get a procedure done. The doctor's office called me and was like, hey, we just ran a cost estimator. It's going to cost this much, which is weird with your insurance because normally it's just a copay. I was like, oh, interesting. What should I do? They're like, oh, call your insurance and just ask them to run their cost estimator on it. I was like, all right, great. Call my insurance. The first person I get has no idea what I'm asking them. I'm like, I just want to know how much this is going to cost me. That's it. They're like, oh, well, our software's down right now. Call back tomorrow. I'm like, okay, great. Call back the next day. I get this lady. She has no clue what I'm talking about. I was like, okay, like, is there a supervisor or someone I can talk to? And she goes, well, she goes, I'm going to get with someone and I'll call you back at the end of the week. I'm like, okay, great. Awesome. She tells me this procedure with my insurance is going to cost me $2,800. And I'm like, okay, that's crazy because the doctor's office said it was going to be like $500 and they said that was high. So I called the doctor's office back and I'm like, hey, so the insurance company told me it was going to be $2,800. They're like, we don't even bill it for that much. I'm like, oh, great. So my doctor's office, they're amazing. They ended up calling my insurance and figuring it all out. But I'm just like, what? How do you guys have a job? No one knows what I'm asking you. This is the customer service line. I feel like this is a very normal question to ask. How much is this going to cost?
But that's what
Good words to use, Elena, whenever you call anywhere like that. Anywhere anymore, I found out, and this is what I do. You tell them when you're talking to them and you're not getting anywhere, say, can I talk to a resolution manager?
Oh, that's
And
a
if
good
they
idea.
say, who is that? What is that? Say, the person that will take care of this problem because you're not. As soon as you
Fair.
say that and they're recording the call, they will shift you somewhere. And after 2 or 3 people, you'll get someone who can understand what you're saying.
Which is crazy, but like, why should it take 2 or 3 people?
Right?
They should just punch it into AI. It'll tell them.
it's so
Exactly.
strange.
That job should be taken over by AI. For sure.
But that was my point about just very large corporations, right? So you have all of these different divisions that are supposed to be talking to each other on a daily basis when it comes to the procedures and standards for a job. And you'll have entire call centers that are working outsourced for a corporation that have zero clue other than, you know, a 2-sheet pamphlet of standard practices that's probably 2 years old
Right.
and isn't moving with the technology. So they have a certain amount of things that they're allowed to do. I doubt they're even given the security clearances of most of these major corporations. So that limitates them to what they want to do or what they can even help with. So that's why they'll just tell you, oh, well, why don't you go in the store and get a new one? 'Cause
We could have a whole show on this stuff too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh. Customer
Easily.
service
I could
lines.
talk forever.
It's
Horrible.
it's so
I deal
awful.
with it every day.
But we're gonna get through. We got a lot of shows coming up here. we're going to have a lot more. We're going to try to get back on the swing of things, get everybody together. I think we've got some dedicated panelists, so Your Shoulder Voice is going to once again be the top notch it once was. Because we're going to be
Cheers
there again.
to that.
It is. We just, everybody went their own way, and that was one thing I wanted to address in the show. That something that everybody should look at, and I know the people on this panel know, and I know a lot of people watching it know, is when you have a problem, and people help you, and they offer a solution that does help your problem, and you get better. Don't forget those people still exist. Don't forget other people still need help. Others are around you. Don't ignore and move on your own way. And that's what happens to a lot of people. They're there because they're suffering with you. But the minute one of you is better, the other one doesn't exist. And as people, we've got to be better about that because we're all we got right now. We don't have anything else. We are peons now. We are fighting big corporations, and we are finding it hard to live. The only thing we can hang on to is each other. And we can't let silly-sided politics, silly, I don't have time to deal with you right now because I have my own life, or I'm better, you're not, fuck off, I'm better than you are. People do that. We can't let that keep happening. Everybody matters. And also, when some people aren't around to help you because it's the middle of the night, you have to remember, hey, it's just late.
Yeah.
I'll get back to you. Everybody's asleep, Bill. I was like... But I really
I have
hope...
to move my neck side to side and up and down, so...
I really hope we can get to a point again where we realize the most important thing we have on this planet ever, since the day humans were birthed, is each other. There's nothing more important. There's no ideological item that is more important than each other. So we need to hang on to that. We need to stay close, even if we do it from far away. And it's always a possibility. So what are you looking forward to? We're almost out of time here. What are you guys looking forward to with the new show? I know a lot of people we've been talking to have discussed what we're going to be doing. One of the things is going to be... what were we talking about now? I can't even remember what we were talking about on there. The ranking shows. Well, we're talking about different things in your life and things we want to rank them, tell you your opinion, give you a chance to talk about it as well. We're going to not do it in an order that we think is important. It could be anything from anything mental health related to the newest films that are coming out. But we want to hear your opinions. We're going to talk about why you rank them there. We want everything to include you as an audience. So definitely we're going to put polls out and stuff. You just vote on those and we're going to use those. And we're going to talk about those things as well. We're going to try to do things that are a little more mixed up, a little more current, as well as still stick to our core values of you can go as deep as you want with us because we're there for you. Nikki, I'm glad to have you here. What is it that you think you're going to be looking forward to most this season?
Oh, everything really. Just reaching new people, reaching new faces, the sky's the limit again. I said it before. Just reaching new people really is my biggest personal goal for this season.
I've seen what you've done so far, and I think we're going to achieve that goal, no problem. What about you, Elena?
I mean, like what Nikki said, the sky is the limit. I'm excited to see new faces, new people in the chat. So that's super duper exciting. I'm excited for a couple of the topic shows we've been talking about. And I think it's I think it's gonna be really, really cool.
I do too. I think we're going to be doing a lot more with it. How about you, Gabe?
Yeah, second and third that for sure. Just getting back into the swing of things and having these conversations. Just, again, therapeutic to I think all of us.
I mean, do you miss them?
For sure, I have.
Is it one of those things that you're without? And I'll tell you, one of the things I had a big problem with a lot of times was I'd be sitting there and I would realize this is what's missing. Like something doesn't feel right, and it's because this wasn't there. How about you,
100%.
Teresa?
I'm just excited to be here on a regular basis, getting to interact and know more people, and just I don't know. The whole
You're
thing.
definitely going to be an asset to the show. I can guarantee that.
I'm just really excited to be a part of it. To be
We're
honest.
really excited to have you as a part of it. All right. Aside from the sex show, what are you interested in, Bill?
Damn it, Keith, that's where I was going. The monthly
I know.
sex show that you promised.
You ruined his joke.
It's what I do.
Nah,
It's what I do.
Actually, right now it's October, so you know me, I'm looking towards, us talking about the new movies coming out and quality and stuff like that. And then, like I said, anytime, but like I said, everyone else said, anytime that anyone else is watching this and you can help them with something, it's great.
That's what we want. And I also want to point out to everybody who is watching Everybody Views, this is about you. We want you to never be afraid. If there's something you want to talk about, even if it's not what we're currently talking about, let us know. That's what we want. We want to be there to talk with you. Everybody on this panel, one thing we have truly in common, we love people. We love to talk to people. We love to listen to them. And some of us even like to talk about ourselves all the time. But
Shut up. I talk about my gay friend all the time. All right? God, get it straight.
Open another
your gay
one.
friends, what about our gay friends?
Wait a minute, you're changing
Too,
that.
Bill.
Yeah.
Listen,
It's not
wait a
always
minute,
your gay friends.
He was changing that this season for some other word. So, and he hasn't picked it yet.
No, I'm just going to cut you off. That'll be easier. That'll be easier. I want to thank everybody for coming back. We're going to try to keep the shows a little bit shorter. We know some of our shows have run way too long. We're going to try to cut that up. Currently, we're only doing Sunday shows. We have not figured out another day of the week to do them, but we will be adding another day when we figure that out. The Sunday shows are going to be a combination of our open forums, and we're also going to have a topic at the same time. We're going to kind of blend the two together, so that we have the first half of the show, we can talk about things that are currently going on. In the second half, we're going to hit up some personal topic, or maybe we'll just lead into something. We'll also do continuation shows so that one show doesn't last too long. Because I think that's the biggest problem we've had on the show is we get talking and we just don't fucking shut up.
And now then it's been 3 hours, and we're like, well,
Yeah.
shit.
It's like, well, I'm already up. We're still here. Well, it's another 15 minutes. I want to thank everybody for being here. I think this is going to be a lot of the main panel we're going to see, but we do have other people as well that will be on here. Nikki, I appreciate you being here. You are fantastic as always. Elena, yeah, you're Elena. I can't say anything more nice about you. I always do. You're just that pocket full of sunshine.
They tried me.
Love having you here always. You've been an inspiration to a lot of people, even myself, and you don't even know it.
Aw.
Gabe, what can I say, Gabe? You're the perfect radio personality.
The voice is back.
It is. We're
The
just going to
voice
call
is
you
back.
the voice.
I prefaced with, I really am trying to be positive, and then I spent the next hour talking about how AI is going to kill us. So next time, I will try even harder than I did on this show.
The next time I ask who goes right to the negative, you'll raise your hand.
Only with AI, though.
At the end,
He
I'm
was
like,
he
I-
was very
I need
honest
to
and did
work.
say
I'm like,
he
I need
did
to work on
he
And
did
this is
say
good reflection. Reflection
Yeah.
is good for everyone.
self-reflection.
I'll send you
Yes.
some positive quotes, Gabe. You can post them on your wall.
That's going to work. That's going to work.
I'll take anything.
And Teresa, that was great advice. I love having you here. I've loved since the first day I've gotten to talk to you in the first shows that you were on. I know you didn't get on much, but I'm looking forward to having you on a lot more this season. I know things have been looking up for you. Things have gotten better. You didn't even, I think before you were on the last time, your name was Teresa Palka.
Yeah,
And it's now Teresa Rice.
that's right.
So I think that's pretty cool. So there has been a few events since you were last on. For sure, congratulations, and you've been very happy, and I'm glad to see that as well. Because, well, that's my cousin. And Bill. Thanks. All right.
Keep me and Bill.
Bill, you know it's not a show without you. I love having you here. You're awesome. You usually come up with some creative shit to say, and I always appreciate that. And you come up with some honest stuff, too, that really does make people think, and I appreciate that a lot as well.
And then
Drina!
there's you.
Drina!
Drina's
Oh my
back.
god, I miss you so much, Drina. Oh, I miss you. It's good to see you. Unfortunately, you're catching the end of the show. I was like,
Next week.
Aw, we
Seeing
miss
as how-
you too.
Seeing as how I can't think of anything, can someone on here say something positive about Keith?
Keith
no.
is
Keith
one
is amazing.
top 5 best people I've ever met in my entire life.
Yes,
he's like the most caring, loving person I've ever met. Like top
Yes.
5 for sure. And I've met a lot of people.
Keith, side note, I actually celebrated somebody's birthday who knows you. We can talk about that privately.
No, I got naked for him. It's fine.
You did. No,
I was like,
That's what Keith does.
no, it was a little more personal than just that. But
Wow.
now we gotta talk. Because I
Yes.
don't know who you're talking about, which means I could have been really drunk or they were really bad.
That's how we're gonna start the show.
it sounds like you were both really drunk.
That sounds
But-
completely like it. We got to talk more. All right.
But the reason
for
me bringing
40
that up
years.
was because we talked about how amazing of a person you are. That was like you.
Well,
were
if
the
they
topic.
if they spend any time with me, they're right. I miss you a lot, Drina. You are, I said thank you to all our panelists. I was about to say it to the chat, but I definitely want to say it to you. I look forward every time you are on this show in that chat, Drina. So I'm so glad to see you. We are going to be back Sundays, 8:00 instead of 7. We're going to start doing 8:00 now on Sundays. I don't know if that's going to change when we pick a weekday show, but I no longer have the free schedule I did on Wednesdays. So we're going to have to figure that one out. But either way, I look forward to seeing you too. I want you all to have a great night. And I know you say you missed something hilarious. Of course you did. You got to get here earlier. Everything we do is hilarious. Everything that we, Nikki, Elena, Gabe, Teresa, we're all hilarious. And there's Bill. He was here too.
I know where you listen. I know where you work, and I know where you live. So stop.
And I know you're not willing to even go drive there. So, all right.
I got a
safe.
driver. Connie will come get me and drive me. So
I guess that's fair. All right, we'll see you all again next Sunday for sure. 8:00. We will be here. Thank you again for joining us, and we look forward to more topics. You got anything you want us to talk about? Any more suggestions? You put it in the comments below or post on our page at Your Shoulder Voice. Don't go to our website because I got to fix that up. We're not doing that website anymore. But Facebook and YouTube are good places. Put your comments on there at Your Shoulder Voice. We love you guys. Take care and have a great, great night.
Bye, everybody.
When you're alone and feeling down, and you're 10 feet underground, when you're so deep you're about to drown, when you're in the lost and found, 'cause heartaches only last a day. Ooh, but your heart will never fade away. Go out and find your way. Don't let them take your soul away. Not a week, not a single day. Hold true to what you wanna be. Never let go, and here's the key. Be you, yeah, only you, only you. Be you, yeah, only you, only you.
Wasn't that special?
I like the new graphics.
Huh?
Good job on those.
It's been a long time since you've been on the show. I didn't do anything new.
Oh, really?
That's that's the old one. I
actually,
haven't
you
done the new
did.
stuff yet.
Feels new. to
So
me.
this didn't come through Messenger. This was on the connection page. 'Cause
Well,
I
that
didn't
was
see it
for
right
our
away.
group. Oh, yeah.
Right.
I was.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't see it right away. So
Yeah, that didn't work
I-
like planned. So,
another question before I forget. Keith, you graduated from Hazel Park.
yes.
Did you happen to know Melissa Gonzalez?
I didn't
Gotta be
talk
about
to
your
foreign
age.
people.
Well, she was short.
Just
She didn't
kidding.
look foreign at that time.
Totally did. That name sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Familiar? Yeah.
The name
She's a
does
friend
sound
of mine.
familiar.
They-
Gabe went to high school. He was a year behind me, so
Yeah, I've known.
But she was, like I said, little short Hispanic girl, very, very cute. When she was in high school, heavy eyebrows and stuff. But she just passed away. She actually donated all her organs and stuff
that's-
this morning and stuff. She
that's
was
sad but awesome.
on life support for 3 days, and then waiting for everything to be able to transition and everything like that. So I didn't know if you knew her or not, but like I said, she's got to be around your guys' age. So
The name is very familiar.
Yeah, the name sounds familiar to me too.
Teresa also.
she,
went there. I was like,
I can't think of her sister's name was, her sister was a little bit older, and I can't remember her sister's name, but when the other
Did she
thing
have
I
a brother,
thought maybe-
Marshall?
We shouldn't probably get into this. Anyway.
She might have. I don't know about her brothers, but she. You might have known her from the bars too, because she's worked at the bars everywhere. And in the bars, they either called her Mel or they called her Charlie. So I
Not
know she
offhand. If
she
I'll
worked at
look her up, see if I can
Bluefin,
find
and then
out.
she was working at Grady's, and then lately she was working at Patty Wax. But I mean, she's worked at bars everywhere. But I knew her when she was a kid because she was my little brother's age, and then she worked at Derby's whenever I was working at Derby's.
I've been to all
So.
those bars.
Yeah.
That's possible. So yeah, that was good. It was good to have you guys back on and do this again. It's been too long. I still halfway forget what I'm supposed to do. I'm still in the middle of updating everything. I'd started a Patreon too. That's not going to do anything, but I got to advertise that as well. And I forgot about that. And Nikki, you've got to get me some information because you're doing a lot of the promotion. You and Teresa are doing a lot of that stuff. So if you've got any links to share or stuff to get anywhere, let me know and we can try to work it all in. I
I'm
appreciate
excited about
that.
this season.
I am too. I think once I'm back in the swing, which I don't think I am quite yet, it's gonna be fine.
I also just went and saw the new Exorcist last night, and I can't wait for all of us to chat about that. So that'll be fun.
We'll hit that up. We'll have a movie one this month. We'll have a horror movie one because
I
we
still
got
have
that.
to see
we
the
got
new Saw.
Oh my god.
Oh, the new Saw, I like that.
Poor Nikki. Poor
You're not
Nikki.
a horror fan.
No,
The,
I
uh,
went with Keith and took my 16-year-old son, and I had no idea what Saw was. I had never seen. He was 16.
Oh no.
He's 16.
You never seen any of the Saws?
Oh, I watch every single Saw movie every October. Like the Saw is my shit.
Yeah, because you wanted to go, but you're way on the other side of the state.
Yeah, I live like here.
That was gruesome. It was not fun.
Wait,
Oh, yeah,
you're way
Teresa
over there.
went.
Do you,
I was like,
Elena, you're way over there. Do you salmon fish?
No.
Saw is torture porn.
I like
It
torture
was
porn.
horrible. There's good salmon fishing up in the UP-ville.
Well, no, she's on the west side of the
Torture
state.
porn
That's
is
where I
salmon.
usually go over
Next
there.
time.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm in Grand Rapids.